Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of A Healthy Dose of Fran. Today, Percy Jackson returns in a video looking at everyone's favourite character, Annabeth Chase, but particularly the things that the non-Annabeth stans have been bringing out in recent years, and that is Annabeth as a character and the problematic nature of her, particularly to do with her constant loyalty to Luke, her clear hatred of her family, her jealousy of Rachel, and various other different things. And these are continuing to be brought up in many Percy Jackson groups that I'm a part of. So I thought, why not answer these questions that people have about Annabeth? So today, I'll be talking about what was Annabeth's deal. Now, what a lot of people seem to forget about Annabeth is that she ran away from home when she was just 7, maybe even 6 years old, and has been traumatised ever since, considering the fact that she was 6 or 7 years old when she was on the run, on the streets, chased by monsters, and basically living her worst life at an incredibly young age. Now, in relation to the parental aspect, you just need to hear that fact that she ran away from home at 6 or 7 years old. One can't even imagine what would lead to a child that age deciding that it was best for them to leave home because they knew that they weren't wanted. Then in Heroes of Olympus, we do actually get some things from Annabeth's perspective and learn particularly about the stepmother in that aspect, in that her stepmother was a pretty cruel person, leaving her to be attacked by spiders, basically calling her crazy in a sense for going on about being attacked by these spiders as a child and treating her like a freak. Now remember the fact that she was 6/7 years old when she ran away. Imagine how old she must have been to be experiencing this emotional and mental abuse, because that is what it is. To treat a child that way who is incredibly young and is clearly terrified and say such things as, "You're bothering your father, don't make things up, don't lie," that is awful and traumatic for a child so young. So that is the family aspect. Her family clearly didn't want her. They saw her as a danger to their other children. But the perspectives that we see in the book, especially from Percy when we meet the family in The Titan's Curse, he doesn't understand what's going on because they just seem so kind. And that's where the anger towards Annabeth seems to come about. Because they're such nice people. Like, how could they be doing such horrible things? How could Annabeth think they're pure evil? Not that she thinks they're pure evil, but you get what I mean. But to see from this perspective that she was treated like a freak by her stepmother, by her father as well in a sense. She ran away from home at, I'm going to just say 6, because we don't know how long on the run she was before she met Luke and Talia at age 7. So it's safe to assume she probably was 6 years old when she ran away. And that's all you need to hear. 6 years old, when she felt it was completely unbearable to live at home anymore. Now on to the loyalty to Luke. And this is something so many people have been frustrated about, that throughout the whole series, throughout the whole 5 books, until maybe the last one, The Last Olympian, Annabeth was completely and utterly loyal to Luke. And no one could understand why. But going back to what I've just been discussing, Annabeth was 7 when she found Talia and Luke. They were the first people, like herself, the first people who knew she wasn't crazy, who protected her as a child, something that her own family wouldn't and couldn't do. They helped raise her, they helped protect her, they gave her the skills to protect herself. She nearly lost them on multiple occasions to Cyclopses in one case, and then actually lost Talia, and all she had then was Luke. Luke was her protector from then on. Luke was the only constant in her life. Luke was everything to her. He was both her first love, but he was also her family. He protected her, he cared for her, and even when he does show there's a different side to her, he still did all these things for her when no one else would. There's such a thing as blind loyalty and blind love and friendship. And for someone who has practically raised her, who's been there for her in every sense of the every sense of the word, and also, no, that doesn't work. We'll just stick with word. It's no wonder that she felt this loyalty to him. But can we really blame her? She attached herself to someone who was the only constant in her life. And yes, he became a terrible person, but even we can't say that there have been terrible people in our lives that we've held on to because we know the good in them. We've seen the good in them. So why do we blame Annabeth? And then on to the jealousy with Rachel. And I will admit, I didn't like this. And this for me was just poor writing on Uncle Rick's side. And I'm sorry, Uncle Rick, I'm sorry. It was. Because there's always this competitive nature between girls, particularly over a boy. Because girls who both want the same attention of a boy can't be friends, they have to hate each other. There's got to be this antagonism. But the majority of it came from Annabeth, so I can understand the frustration there. But from all the things that I've just brought up, the abandonment of her family, the abandonment of her father, the abandonment of Luke to her, in her mind, her father got an upgrade in a family. He found a better family. He no longer needed her because he found something better. Same with Luke. He found something better. Revenge. And his upgrade was Kronos and having an entire army at his beck and call. He had power for the first time in his life. And that meant more than Annabeth. Now all these people, the two most important people in her life, both found upgrades, both left her for other things. Both found something better than Annabeth. And now Percy, the person who is now the constant in her life, the person she cares solely about, the person who means so much to her because he understands what she's been through. They have this connection, they have this care for each other. It may not be love at this point when this jealousy is going on, but it's building. And so now she's seeing Rachel, in a sense, as this threat, similar to what Percy had towards Annabeth and joining the Hunters. But of course no one focuses on the fact that Percy was frustrated and jealous over that element, mainly because it was more subtle than what happened with Rachel and Annabeth. But if we look at this from the perspective of someone who has lost people because they found someone better, it's no wonder that she reacted so poorly to Rachel. She's seen this girl become so heavily invested in Percy's life. Show Annabeth up. Annabeth was supposed to be the most intelligent member of this group. She was supposed to be the person who would lead them to victory, who would lead them to safety. And this mortal girl who shouldn't have this ability to show her up is doing so. She is being better than Annabeth. And straight away, Annabeth's mind is going to go to Percy is going to upgrade to a better version of me, a better version of someone he could love more because they're better than me. We all do this. I know I have in the past, where I've seen partners or potential partners find someone who I believed was better than me. So I would convince myself that I was going to lose this person that I really cared about because someone else came along who was better. And Annabeth is going through the same thing that everyone goes through. And yet a lot of people in this fandom now are hating on her for it, calling Annabeth abusive, which is just not okay. And this is the thing that so many people forget. Annabeth is a traumatized child. Does that excuse some of the things that she does? Of course not. People can still be terrible people and have had terrible things happen to them. That doesn't mean that what they've done isn't terrible. But all of these things, being angry at her family, being loyal to Luke, being jealous over Rachel, these aren't completely bad things. They are tied into something that is important to her and something that she experienced that no one else has. Her family abandoned her. Her father upgraded to a better family, a family that he wanted, a normal family. Luke was the only constant in her life, her first love, her first real family that actually wanted her. He found an upgrade. He found something he wanted, power and revenge. And Annabeth wasn't included. Then she found Percy, and that relationship with him was threatened by someone she perceived to be better than herself, someone she could lose Percy to. So jealousy and anger and frustration took over, making her an unkind person towards Rachel. Are any of these things a good reason for why she was horrible to Percy for being judgmental of Luke? No. Does it justify her being antagonistic towards Rachel? No. But that was Annabeth's deal. She'd been through so much, so it's no wonder she reacted in bad ways occasionally. But we still have to look at these events through the eye of a traumatized child, because that is what Annabeth is and who Annabeth is. But she has become stronger for it. And so that was Annabeth's deal. Did this video get more serious than I intended? Yes. Do I regret it? Kinda. But either way, this video is really interesting to me. But I want to know, what do you guys think? Do you think all these things that happened to Annabeth justify or at least explain her actions in the series? Or do you just think she was just generally annoying? Whatever the case, let me know in the comment section down below. Before I sign off, I want to give a massive thank you to the fantastic artist of today's thumbnail, Klymenarts. So to Klymenarts, thank you so much for letting me use your artwork. To go find and support them, all their social media links are down below. Now, if you guys want more of a deep dive into the Percy Jackson series, I now run my own Percy Jackson podcast called The Best Damn Camp. Damn without the N. Now, all the links for that are down below, and I have episodes coming out every Wednesday. So if that intrigues you, be sure to go follow, subscribe, and check me out on all social media, which is down below. If you guys want more Percy Jackson content, be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell if you haven't already. And of course, check out my podcast. If you want to follow me, all of my social media links are down below, including my merchandise store and my Patreon. As always, thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you guys next time.